Hello, I'm Eric Snodgrass, and thank you for watching this Ag Forecast for South America, brought to you by Nutrien Ag Solutions. We're going to begin first by looking back over the last 30 days at precipitation anomalies, and the unit here is in millimeters, but we really just want to hone in on the pattern. Now, earlier in the month of September, we were quite wet down in Rio Grande do Sul and into Buenos Aires province down here as well. And the place that was drier throughout September it's kind of Brazil's southern growing areas of like Mato Grosso do Sul, getting into Paraná. But this is an area that over the next 10 days I'm expecting a lot of precipitation. So bigger picture here is that this is a region that over the next 10 days, I'm kind of highlighting here, is going to continue to remain on the drier side of things. And no, that was not well forecast by me. Originally I thought we would have started to fill that in maybe in the next 7 days, but it's going to be delayed about another week into this area. So as we look out there, let's take a look at the current kind of state of the monsoon. And what we're going to do is we're just going to look, as the sun was setting today, at how the convection sets up. So we do see a lot of isolated convection. Some of these storms in here putting down some pretty heavy rainfall. But you do notice that the farther south you go, getting here into the southern Brazil, this is Paraná right here. That's the Paraná River. This area is missed out on some of the precip, and it's going to continue to do that. So take a look. Next 10 days from today's European model. We have stalled out fronts here, putting down a tremendous amount of rain, and there's Paraná. But coming into Mato Grosso do Sul, which is here, and into Goiás, into Tocantins, and then southern parts of Mato Grosso, we're still going to miss out on our normal precipitation. So this is the area that's carried the drier bias longer than I originally had thought. We're also drier into Argentina, much of Argentina here over the next week. To 10 days as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at it and how this is all going to shake down here by looking at the high-res 12Z European model. So as we play this forward, getting through the end of this week, there's our first frontal boundary that stalls out. So you see here from Friday into Saturday, this is where we're going to have some of our heavier rain. Just notice that the flashes of green that indicate the normal monsoonal rains, they stay pretty far to the north here, okay? As we go then into Sunday, and now out into Sunday afternoon and evening. Very heavy rains targeting this area on a stalled boundary, all right? And then as we go from there into Monday and Tuesday, that front clears, but we don't yet see this region filling in with better scattered convection. It tends to just stay to the north on this side. So watch, here's in the morning, afternoon, and evening. And as we play through middle of next week, toward the end of next week, get more chances of rain down south here by next Saturday. And then if I just let this 10-day run go out, there's that last front that comes through and provides that big punch. Now this is out there on the 10th, so this is Sunday the 10th that we're talking about this rain. So we'll call that into question and keep watching it here. But overall, when you add all that up, there's the first round of heavy rain. This again is through Sunday. So we have the potential here for picking up 2 to 3 inches of rain. That's about, between about 70 and 100, maybe 120 millimeters of rainfall. But as I discussed, this was the area that I'm waiting for this to fill in. So going through early next week into Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, you can continue to see the drier conditions here. Better monsoonal rains farther to the north. So when does that kind of fill in? Well, once again, we have a week 2 model run that starts to show better precipitation in this area and near normal to the north. Where it becomes drier then is where we've seen some of the wet conditions now in southern Brazil. I want to talk to you about why the models are doing that so we can get a better handle on this. Current ocean temperatures. We're still watching this La Nina, and the Southern Oscillation Index is at a value about -10. Okay, so it's firmly into the La Nina territory, but we've seen some cooler water really show up here, and this is encroaching on what we call Niño region 1+2 or 1-2. So there's 4 Niño regions, and this is just the first one. Now, why I stress that is that the cooling of the water along the coast here is statistically correlated with this precipitation pattern in October. And if the waters were warm, we would expect this area to be wet, and if it's cool there, we expect it to be dry. So what I'm trying to say is that as we get into the month of October and you start to see the drier bias farther to the south, these cooler ocean temperatures showing up here are correlated to that. Whereas we see more normal precipitation, especially getting over to the east, maybe a chance for some wetter conditions here. I also mentioned that Southern Oscillation Index value going negative and staying there. Well, that's also indicative of drier conditions farther to the south. That's what this correlation means. And wetter here. So when you come back to it and you say, all right, now you see the drier conditions south, wetter conditions there, I think that the behavior of the tropics, both with La Nina and the cooling of the waters in Nina Region 1.2, are teaming up with the development of the monsoon to give us this pattern out into week 2. Where do we go from there? Well, let's go out and look at the new long-range forecast. Now, this is October 10 to November 10. And we do see favoring drier conditions here, which means the models are taking that ocean temperature pattern and the resulting atmospheric changes and now bringing in drier conditions south where it has been very, very wet, as we saw at the beginning. Better moisture returning here. But the question is, right in through this corridor, if we are drier than normal, will that cause any issues with just returning of some soil moisture, which we looked at on Monday? And at this point, when I show you the total amount of precipitation, you'll still see that this would be more than enough should the model verify that we will be able to bring in and get normal planting progress going here. But I'll still come back to what I started with, and that is this. This is an area that has continued to stay drier longer than we initially thought. I just want to keep a close eye on this, all right? I'll put it in my morning reports, but also talk to you about this again on Monday. So until then, have a good weekend, and we'll catch up again then. Thanks.